guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gamers. Some of you may on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Temptation's Ballad. So, ladies and gents, let's just go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm Chan, you are up, and let's go. There we go. Okay. Artemy blinked and sat up straight as Ilya approached her with a smile.
Artemy, was it? I just wanted to say that it's wonderful to have you here. I'm very grateful and relieved to know such a capable knight will be working with my son. It's a great comfort to a stressed mother's heart.
Artemy gulped nervously and bowed.
You flatter me. I'm simply performing on my duty. Oh dear, you've looked rather troubled since you had arrived here. I hope we are not making you feel uncomfortable. Not at all. Everyone here has been wonderful. Sorry if I appear glum. I just have a lot on my mind. Ah, I see. Well, sweetheart, if you ever need someone to talk to, this old bird is happy to lend an ear.
Artemy bowed her head stiffly.
You are very kind, Lady Ilya.
Amused laughter erupted from Ilya as she covered her smiling face.
Lady Ilya? Who's flattering who again? You can just call me Ilya, dear.
Artemy stumbled through her words as a self-conscious flush spread across her cheeks.
I cannot possibly. Perhaps Mrs. Shrikewood would be okay. I'm sorry if I'm too forward. Sweetheart, you needn't apologize so much. Let me assure you that you are a wonderful guest. Sorry, I just...
Artemy caught herself and snapped her mouth shut.
I'm just at a loss for words often. You're very different from what I imagined, Mrs. Shrikewood. Huh, in what way? As an innkeeper, a bird, or a fellow lady? As a mother.
A surprised look spread across Ilya's face. Artemy stiffened nervously.
Apologies if that was too forward.
Ilya laughed and waved a hand dismissively.
Oh, it's fine. You're not the first person to mention it. Renette and I get it a lot, actually. I admit that two tiny birds raising a hulking badger as their son is a rather humorous image. No, it's not about that. I just thought you would be more stern or strict. It is very bewildering to see everyone here conversing so casually. Are all families like this?
Ilya's plumage drooped as she stared at Artemy silently for a moment. She then hastily leaned across the table to refill Artemy's tea and filled her plate with more bread.
Are all families like this? I hope so. Though, I know firsthand that that is not always the case. Is everything all right, dear?
Artemy took her teacup and stared into the steaming contents quietly.
I confess that I recently got into an argument with my own mother and might be projecting somewhat. We were rarely on good terms, but today I lost my temper and actually yelled back at her.
The aghast horror she felt in that moment in the outdoor cafe was overwhelming. Artemy sighed and took a deep sip of her tea.
I've been failing non-stop in my duties lately, and now I'm afraid I just added fuel to the fire.
Ilya stared at Artemy in bewilderment for a solid minute before bursting out in a fit of laughter.
You're stressed out because you talked back to your mother for the first time? Oh my goodness, dear, you truly are too sweet for this cruel world. When I was your age, my mother and I were constantly at each other's throats, and my sister was much worse. Actually, you're what, 20 years old? I think we had already ran away from the home at that point. You and your sister ran away from home? Yes, and then we stole a boat and sailed as far as the sea could take us.
Ilya smiled nostalgically and sighed.
Listen to me, dear girl. Having the strength to stand up for yourself is a trait you should be immensely proud of. I know in your youths, we always imagined our parents as these perfect people who automatically know what's best for you. Utter hogwash. If I have learned anything from my time as both mother and daughter, it is that I know absolutely nothing and neither does anyone else. But you're a mother yourself. Surely you'd prefer your children to obey.
Ilya snorted humorlessly.
Would I prefer Sid take on a safer job? Of course. But I also want my son to be happy. I want him to feel safe enough to speak his mind when something is bothering him. So when he told me he wanted to become an adventurer, I adjusted my expectations. Family is conversation, dear. Family is a conversation, dear. If all you do is order your children about, you're just an awful cattle driver who will end up dying alone one day. Just like my mother.
Artemy just gaped, her mind swimming aimlessly.
Oh, apologies. I came out more forcefully than I intended.
She sat down next to Artemy and placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. Across Ilya's aged face, wrinkled with many years of history, was a soft, sympathetic smile.
I understand that guilt you must be feeling. But please remember that you deserve to be happy, and there's no shame in standing up for yourself in defense of that happiness. I see. Thank you, Mrs. Shrikewood. You have given me much to think about.
Artemy cleared her throat. Her ears drooped timidly as she smiled up at Ilya.
Say, apologies if I'm being too forward again, but would it be alright if I come by the Sparrow's Roost again in the future? Your wise words are quite comforting.
Ilya laughed kindly.
Of course. Any friend of Sid is welcome under my roof. I look forward to speaking with you again, my dear.
As the party cheerfully continued wolfing down their food, Ilya made certain to speak to each of them privately. Now, who should she talk to first? Sid. I'll talk to Sid. Okay. Save her son.
Sid, dear?
Yeah, Mom. Ilya smiled gently as she pulled Sid aside.
Dear, I just wanted to tell you that I am very proud of your decision to become an adventurer. I'd like to apologize if I had been too discouraging before. I'm just very worried about you. But now that I know that you're in capable hands, I can worry a little less. Slightly less. Oh, who am I kidding? I'm still worried out of my mind, but you must keep doing what makes you feel happy.
Oh, thanks, Mom. You really don't need to fuss so much, though. I mean, I've got the Creator's Chosen and the son of the world's greatest mercenary on my team. I'm pretty sure I'll be fine.
You're right. I just can't help but worry, you know? I'm your mother, after all. But yes, you've done a good job in choosing your companions.
Ilya's worried frown suddenly melted away into a teasing smile.
By the way, you're still very young. Why not?
Oh God, Mom, please don't give me that grandchildren talk now.
Why, of course not. Whether or not you have children is solely your decision. But I'm just saying, you should take advantage of your youth while you've got it. Your new companions seem like good stock. Get out there, go out on some dates and experience some new things.
God, your mom is telling you to get laid. My God.
Mom, don't make this weird. We just met yesterday. Plus, Artemis a knight of the church. I'm pretty sure she's got an oath of celibacy or something. Well, what about Cole? He seems like a charming young man.
Oh, what? No, why would I ever be Nicole? I'm not gay. He squinted. Your mom fucking squints at you when you say you're not gay.
I am not gay. You spent your entire childhood prattling on about that really buff and attractive mercenary man.
But that doesn't count.
Really? You spent an awful amount of time fantasizing about that man's chest muscles, though.
I'm serious, Mom. I'm 100% sure I'm not gay. That'd be really weird. Yeah, say it louder. I'm sure you'll convince someone eventually.
Again, I do not understand what is preventing you from being happy.
Shut it, Artie. Let them talk. Artie McFly? Ilya's brow furrowed with concern.
Why are you getting so worked up about this? Sid, I hope your father and I never gave you the impression that we disapproved. You're free to love whoever you choose.
Really? I always thought...
Sid, when did this come about? If there's something bothering you, please let me know.
Well, Sid fidgeted uncomfortably. Do you remember that prestigious academy that you sent me to when I was younger? You know, the one where you and Dad spent all your savings to pay for the tuition? And I ended up sucking really bad and the school kicked me out? A deathly glare washed across Ilya's face.
Ah, yes, those teachers had the gall to claim you lacked any intellectual merit.
The nerve. I ought to go back and give them a piece of my mind. No, this isn't about the teachers. Sid scratched his head awkwardly. During my time there, the other students kind of picked on me a lot. Specifically for crushing on the guys there. Not that I actually did it, of course. I guess I just gave off that impression. A heartbroken look fell across Ilya's face as she clutched her chest.
Oh, Sid, why didn't you tell us about this?
Oh, I mean, I completely wasted you and Dad's life savings from getting expelled. I don't want to disappoint you guys even more. Ilya smiled and rested a warm hand on her son's shoulder.
Dear, you're never a disappointment.
Please, whatever you choose to do, you have my full support, be it in matters of career or love.
If you like this Cole fellow, go for it. Though you might want to keep on your toes. Bards tend to be prickly where you least expect it.
You mean like physically prickly or...
Oh no, it's a metaphor, dear. Although I once knew this bard who cast polymorph incorrectly and... Oh, never mind, that's highly inappropriate.
Ilya cleared her throat loudly.
Now then, let us focus on a far more important topic.
Ilya smiled as she casually reached for a bottle on the kitchen table. Oh God, Burr Mom is angry. Run! Get the fuck out! Glass showered across the room as an utterly feral rage overtook her.
Who hurt you? These...
Oh God, I got some glass. I think I got some of that glass caught in my throat. Okay.
Who hurt you? These classmates of yours? I want names and addresses. Mom, please, you can't pick a fight with these people. Oh, don't you worry about your old ma. I've killed a man or two back in my day. What? Please, calm down. It was just some light bullying. Which is why we can't let them off the hook. What kind of message does that send? Bullying is okay so long as you don't get caught? I ain't having it.
Mild panic flooded through Sid's chest as he tried to ease his mother back into her seat.
Sure, maybe, but you don't have to be the person to do this. I have the advantage here. Either I kick the shit out of them or they suffer through the social scrutiny of fighting an old lady. It's a win-win, baby.
Artemy chipped in from across the room.
Are we riding into battle? If so, you have my full support, Mrs. Shrikewood.
Count me in too. I kind of want to see where this goes.
Don't enable this! Everyone sit back down!
As the party cheerfully continued wolfing down their food, Illy made certain to speak to each of them privately. Now, who should talk to you first? These sparrows roost in. Okay. That was a, oh, that was an interesting conversation. Wow, his mother's terrifying. Marauders District, Bonebreaker Mercenary Company. Alright, what's going on here? I'm banging, probably. Cole, Sid, and Artemy, and Malice said their goodbye to Ilya as the afternoon sun hovered over the heated summer sky. They made their way back to the Bonebreaker Guild to find the place surprisingly calmer than before. At least from the outside, there was a significant lack of drunken shouting and jeering. Alrighty, Papa and Hamish should have finished up their business by now. Are y'all ready to meet the Great Marrow Bonebreaker? Sid shuffled behind Cole nervously as he pushed open the heavy guild doors.
This will be my first time meeting my hero in person. Do you think he'll like me?
Thunk.
Ah!
As soon as the door opened, a throwing axe sailed across the room and sank into the wooden wall inches above Sid's head. Oh, Marrow Bonebreaker barked a booming laugh as he sat behind the bar, whilst casually twirling a second axe in his hand. So this is it, eh? Is it little shits who think they're worthy of working for my darling son? Well, think again. The entire building shook, Marrow's voice piercing through every fiber of their being as he grinned at them like a predator surveying a selection of fresh meat. Yeah, his dad's terrifying, too. He slammed his axe down to the bar, adding another wound among the sea of marks in the wood. This is the Bonebreaker Mercenary Guild. We accepted the best and only the best. If you're not ready to go through hell and back, I suggest you hike your sorry little tails out of here while you still have the chance. Sid was suddenly very small and timid as he crouched behind Cole's tiny frame.
I think I just peed a little.
Artemy also glanced back at Cole nervously.
Sir Bonebreaker seems to have rather high standards. Do you think either of us will qualify?
Cole grimaced at the two of them. Are you two actually scared right now? Of that? As if on cue, Hamish casually strutted into the room and gave the three of them a friendly wave. Hey, folks! You must be Cole's new recruits. Welcome to the Bonebreaker Mercenary Guild. Don't mind the big oaf over there. He just spent the last hour practicing that speech hoping to impress you. Marrow's entire rowdy bravado collapsed with a look of utter heartbreak and betrayal. Hammy, you just ruined the magic! I was trying to look cool in front of Cole's new friends, and you ruined it! Hamish shot the bigger hyena a venomous scowl.
You know what else is ruined? Our new door frame. We just got it replaced. You couldn't just stick with a speech, could you? No, you just had to chuck an axe at them too. I got one chance to make a first impression, and I gotta make it big. Artemy and Sid exchanged surprised looks as the two older hyenas continued squabbling like a married couple. A throwing axe embedded into the front door comically failed to reveal a dozen other gashes from what were clearly practice throws. So this is the greatest warrior in the history of Axia.
He certainly has been domesticated somewhat compared to all those tall tales. Hamish suddenly cleared his throat loudly and turned towards the party. Hey, Hammy, don't you go ignoring me again. Who said that? Anyway, Artemy and Sid, feel free to make yourselves at home. I understand we'll be mainly training Sid today since he lacks any real combat experience, and Artemy is already combat ready. Feel free to join the sparring matches if you so desire. We'll outfit Sid with a weapon that best suits your fighting style and go over the basics with you step by step.
That sounds good.
As for Artemy, Cole had left a note explaining your mission with the church earlier. Rest assured that the Bonebreaker Guild Network will aid you in your search for these gems.
Thank you, Sir Hamish. I appreciate your professionalism.
You mean his bossiness? Amish's commanding veneer wavered slightly as he shot Cole a hurt look. He shook it off quick. He shook it off and gave Artemy instead a welcoming smile. I also wanted to thank you two for taking care of Cole for us. And of course, apologize for any trouble he might have caused you. Artemy tried her best not to smile.
It is quite alright, sir. Cole is great, and I have forgiven him for almost all the crimes against us against chivalry. Hey!
Ah, yes, I fully understand. He can be quite a handful sometimes, but he's got a good heart underneath everything.
I'm right here, you know.
Conversation carried on as though no one heard him.
Say, I'm kind of surprised how supportive the guild is so far. All those bard tales make you guys seem like a rowdy crew of barbarians.
Mara barked another laugh and climbed over the bar to join them. Ah, don't get us wrong. We are a rowdy crew of barbarians. But loath as I am to admit it, that prideful posturing can only get you so far. Those bard tales love to exaggerate the big bad hyena vibe of our guild, and what truly holds us together is the pack. We don't leave anyone behind, rookie or otherwise. You both are gonna be right at home here. We'll take good care of you. I'm doing like a little bit of a pirate accent. Sid's heart fluttered at Mara's reassuring grin. So this was the face of his hero. Mara locked eyes with him and his grin suddenly turned mischievous. He slammed his axe into the bar again, shaking the building with a deafening boom.
What did I just say about breaking shit?
Now, enough chit-chat. Time to fight! You think I was kidding when I said to be ready for hell? We're gonna push you hard. That's the only real way to make a warrior out of you. Hurry up and move those lazy legs. Just to the sparring room. Oh, wow. It's like an axe. So many axes embedded in random shit. Sid was in a cold sweat. Decisiveness was never his strong suit. The Badger had the habit of mulling hours over the simplest of choices. To his childhood hero, Barrow Bonebreaker dragged out crates upon crates of weapons for him to choose from. Sid felt his brain immediately short-circuit. Ah, come on, rookie. What are you getting so nervous for? We haven't even started drilling you yet.
There's too many choices. What if I make the wrong one?
Well, then you can just drop it and choose another one. Relax, boy. It ain't the end of the world. How about a heavy axe? This one's my favorite. Sid let out a yelp as Mara dropped a massive double-bladed axe onto his hands. The weapon almost slipped out of his grip as he scrambled to grab hold of it. Despite being called a heavy axe, it didn't feel particularly heavy. Sid swung it about experimentally.
This one? I don't know. Would people think I'm trying to copycat you?
Contrary to popular belief, I did not invent the axe, boy. Stop overthinking. There's not time for that on the battlefield. Give it a few swings. Does it feel right in your hands? Alright guys, I'm gonna pause it right here. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell if it's super thanks, or a tip if you can, it always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!